Hey, yo, what's goody?
How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing good, having a great evening. So let's just get right into it. Today's story is going to be about a person who wrote a story that they needed to vent. So I'm going to read the title for you. It says, "Your significant other wanting time for themselves does not mean they don't want to be around you." So hear that again. Your significant other wanting time for themselves does not mean that they don't want to be around you. Okay. So let's just hear it. I recently told my partner that I wanted to have more me time. He seemed okay with it, but he's been acting a little distant. He says he doesn't want to interfere. He knows I still love him and want time with him too. It's healthy for everyone to get alone time. It's much needed for most people, in my opinion. I can say that I agree with that statement, especially people who are in relationships where they live together. Being away from your partner is okay. It's okay being away from your partner because that gives you more time to become an independent person aside from being in your relationship. Now, the one thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to become codependent on your relationship. You have to think of as your relationship as an extension of yourself, right? So prioritizing your relationship is important. However, you also have to prioritize your own self, right? And your own interests and your proper hobbies that you practice way before being in this relationship, right? Don't let this relationship change you, because if you do, and God forbid your relationship is over, like practically that would mean that your life is over too, right? Shouldn't be that way. You should still be able to be yourself outside of this relationship. So let's say you have a significant other, right? And your significant other goes, "Oh, I need some time to hang out with the boys. Like, I'll be back in a few." You're not going to get upset, right? Because if you do, that's manipulative. You're manipulating this person into feeling bad for wanting time for themselves. Now remember, this is a whole other human being. Like, why are you demanding so much time from this person? What is it about this person that bothers you when they're not around? Like, understandable, you want to be with them, spend time with them, all these things. But at the same time, you yourself are your own person, right? So think about the things that you like to do and think about the things that you did before the relationship and how you can continue doing them throughout the relationship. Of course, if it's a healthy thing that you were doing, right? And it's going to make you grow as an individual. So the person continues by saying, "I want to make this clear to whoever may need to hear it. If your partner says that they want some time to themselves, it doesn't mean they hate you." That's true. It doesn't mean they're sick of you, and it doesn't mean that they don't love you. It just means that they may feel overwhelmed in other aspects of their life and need some time to reflect. Okay, that could be a reason why your partner wants some alone time, right? Another reason why your partner might want some alone time is because they want to do something different. Like, don't you get bored of doing the same? Not that you're getting bored of your relationship, but don't you get bored of doing the same thing over and over and over again every single day? Right? Let me give you an example of a relationship that is very codependent, and no one in the relationship has their own identity. Because what ends up happening in codependent relationships is people become enmeshed with one another to the point where it's impossible or damn near hard to separate. So you're stuck in this cycle And the cycle could be a vicious one. It could be a very abusive relationship. But because you're stuck in this codependent relationship, it's hard for you to see that. Right? So an example of a codependent relationship would be, let's say a guy and a girl, right? Let's say they're dating and they've been together for 4 years. They've been steady. However, the guy wants to hang out with his guys, right? But the girl is like, oh, I want to come too. It's okay if you come a few times. But every time I'm with my boys, you want to come too? Like, and then the girl will get upset because the guy is expressing that he does not want her to be around his boys all the time, which is perfectly fine. You as a female, you don't have to be around your guys' boys all the time. Like, why? Why do you want their attention? And it's not like you're asking for it, but you certainly are implying it by wanting to be there every time. And you would get upset if your boyfriend wanted to be hovering every time you were with your girls. That's a very codependent relationship because you're depending on the other person for your happiness. And that's not healthy. Now, a relationship that's healthy, right? A relationship where both partners are in agreement that they both have separate lives outside of their relationship is a relationship where both people go to work, right? Let's say one comes home early, right? They start cooking, making food, and then the other person comes home, has dinner, and then they're like, hey, I'm gonna go to my boy's house really quick. I'll see you later, okay? The girl's like, fine. You can go. She's not upset or anything. She's not upset. She's just like, yeah, of course, go ahead. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna hang out, listen to some music, chill, while you go and hang out with your boys, and I'll see you later, right? That's a healthy relationship. A lot of people are afraid of abandonment, which is a lot of the times why it's hard for people to accept being alone, even if it's just for a few hours, because if you think about it, it's very visceral, the feeling that you get like when you miss someone, right? It's a physiological, which means that you feel it inside and you feel it outside. When you miss someone, you might get sick, you might start feeling depressed, you're slouching, so it's physiological. However, when you're aware of your body and you realize that this is affecting you mentally, then you'll pull back. And whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, right? So they continue by saying, please do not try to take it personally if your partner wants some time for themselves. They still love being around you and have a pleasure of calling you their partner. Just try to see it from their perspective. It can strengthen a relationship even more. That's true. It can strengthen your relationship because when your partner comes back, right, from hanging out with your boys, or when they come back from going to the gym or whatever, you guys can have something to talk about, right? You have something to talk about, right? You're like, yo, there was some crazy ass shit that happened. Like, I can't wait to tell you about it. Like, it was so wild. But if you're there every second of the day, every minute, you guys literally will have nothing to talk about because you're literally experiencing the same exact things every single moment. And that is like torture. It's really torture if you think about it. So just try to ease off a little bit on your partner. If you feel like they wanting to do their own thing nowadays, like, outside is opening back up finally, right? People are going to want to see their friends that they haven't seen in like 3 months. People are going to be like, whatever. They're going to want to do shit. It's summer. Please don't be hovering. Nobody likes people who hover. It's annoying and you look like a little sister. Like, seriously. But I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.